Hi, thanks for being in a new video. Let me tell you what I liked most and least about the HONOR Magic 6 Pro in case you're considering buying it. So as always, let me tell you, don't buy the HONOR Magic 6 Pro without watching this video. Let's consider its launch price in Mexico, which has been 28,999 pesos. On the screen, you see the reference price in dollars just to have an idea, but remember that the prices here are not the same as there. Generally, prices in Mexico are somewhat higher. Let me tell you first what I like the most. This device integrates very good resistance with nanocrystal glass and has 5 stars by SGS. Definitely seeing this level of resistance in a high-end device is very attractive because usually high-end devices can be considered somewhat fragile by some people due to their premium design. In this case, it seems to give us a bit more reassurance regarding how resistant it can be to some drops. It has an attenuation rate of 4,320 Hz. Although this cannot be perceived with the naked eye, but it means that, in general, the screen should be very comfortable when viewing it at night with a very low brightness. It also integrates the natural hue feature for the display. This is something that few Android devices incorporate, which is why I always like to highlight it, and it allows you to have a white balance on the screen similar to the white of the environment. So if you're in a warm light environment, the screen will also look much warmer, and the same will be true in cool light environments. The front camera is very wide, so it helps a lot for group shots. So if you take a lot of pictures with large groups of people, I think it can be a useful tool. And this device is able to capture the exact moment without any problem. It has good technology so that these pictures are captured as fast as possible as soon as you press the shutter, so it can be very easy compared to other devices. It also integrates an exaggeratedly advanced document scanner in the native camera, as it will not only automatically detect the documents, but it will also allow us to apply some different filters of color styles to make it look like a much more advanced scanner. And it also allows you to keep adding pages and later export it to PDF. So far, I haven't seen such an advanced scanner on other smartphones integrated directly into the camera. The preview before taking pictures looks very well optimized. This is a small detail that is part of the user experience, but nowadays on Android devices is very rare to find. So from before taking the picture, you can see more or less how the result will be. In backlit conditions, it can become very useful. So in this sense, it is perceived as a very advanced device. Overall, the camera is very good with night photography, even with the ultra-wide camera and the main camera. Portrait photography also looks interesting and natural, although it doesn't get a % accuracy, but it looks good. It also integrates attractive options through software such as the Magic Portal, through which you can simply drag and drop content when trying to share it to other applications. It has air gestures through which you can control your cell phone without touching it, and even has infrared to function as a universal remote control. All these features I mentioned to you are not very common in a premium device, so that's why I like it. And in addition to integrating fingerprint reader as almost all cell phones today, it also integrates facial unlocking. Pay attention, because while other devices integrate facial recognition in 2 dimensions, in this case it is in 3 dimensions, and therefore it is much safer, similar to the security that you can get to give the iPhone in facial recognition. However, here you have the advantage that in addition to facial recognition, you also have the fingerprint reader. The battery is an exaggeratedly brutal 5,600 mAh, but it's not just a large capacity. In our test, it really performed as it should, topping 5 hours in our foreground drain test and reaching almost 11 hours in the background test, confirming that it's one of the best you're going to find today with respect to battery life. It also integrates a desktop mode so that when you connect it to an external display, you can use the applications in windowed format. That is, it will transform the interface as if you had a computer, although obviously the applications are the same as Android, but you have much more space for multitasking. You can connect a wireless keyboard and mouse so you can get to work directly from your cell phone with an external monitor. Door. The HONOR ecosystem is very solid and very large, so you have your computer, your tablet, your headphones, your watch. In general, it is a very broad ecosystem in terms of number of devices and also with good interaction technologies between them. It has 512 gigabytes of storage. Generally, the 512 gigabyte options are usually available in other high-end devices, but they are much more expensive options. In this case, although it is not a very economical device, from the base version we find 512 gigabytes of storage. And the processor has a lot of power, it opens applications very fast, exports video very fast, and in games it performed as if it were a very advanced phone for gamers. So overall, if you want a device that has a very high performance, this is an excellent choice. Especially considering that usually devices that are very focused on gaming do not usually have very good cameras or usually sacrifice aspects. But this one, being a flagship that does not focus only on gaming, does give us a very good experience in other ways and in games as well. But now let me tell you why performance drops a lot. For example, it stops processing backlit photos, it doesn't process portrait photos either. So it's something very curious that had only happened to me with a few devices. In front portrait photography, it is not able to keep objects in focus. This is quite curious considering it has facial recognition sensors, so it should perform better in front portrait photography, but here it doesn't. The ultra-wide camera still has some noticeable distortions at the edges, especially in indoor photography, so it doesn't strike me as the most advanced photographic system in the world. In this case, it is still very noticeable that one is the main camera and the other two are add-on cameras. At this price point, the zoom falls quite short. While it has good quality in short-range zoom, if you want to go to very high limits, the zoom is definitely going to look very forced and with little level of detail. So if zoom is your priority, I think you can find better options. The telephoto camera behaves a bit shaky, especially in night light or backlit conditions, as the tones can become very warm. Although this type of details could be corrected through presence of lights and shadows while you are doing the panoramic sweep, you will notice that there are some areas that will appear very burned or other areas that will appear very dark. So it's not as advanced a photograph in panning mode. The slow motion is only at about 240 frames per second in HD. This is definitely some of the worst I found in this device, as in the price range there are devices that have slow motion in 4K at 120 frames per second or in HD at 960 frames per second, but in this case it has low resolution and is not such a slow motion. Portrait recording video mode, when I tested it, got to warm up the device a lot, and once it warmed up, the portrait effect was disabled, so definitely that in this regard it is not well optimized. Low dynamic range. You will definitely find much better options in this high-end segment if your priority is to record with the front camera. In fact, the front camera does not integrate a fast or slow motion mode, and finally its screen recordings are only in HD. So if you want to record gameplays or tutorials but you want to do it with a good quality and good resolution, it is definitely bad news that it is not able to record your screen in full HD. And if you already bought it, let me know how much it cost you. For now, we have reached the end of this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, you know you can tell me, and we'll see you next time.